All right, what's up, my friends? Todd Falcone here. Happy day. So funny. It's like I never look at my calendar, so I don't know what day it is. It's a day that ends in Y. I mean, literally, I don't think I ever know what day it is, but that's cool. It is a day that ends in Y, and I've got a really special guest with me today that I'm very, very excited to talk to. And look, you guys have heard me talk about him by name so many times. Probably more so than a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have followed me, students of mine, people that are customers that have purchased trainings from me and all of that. And I've mentioned Jim Tanner on so many different occasions. And most of the time I talk about Jim, I'm referencing, cold market prospecting. Like this guy got into my cold market lead mastery course years ago. And then he just did the full on deep dive into insider secrets to recruiting professionals. And honestly, I got to say, like, this dude's probably, and I got a lot of students that have followed, insider secrets. This is like my premier recruiting professional student. And we're not going to just talk about that today. We're going to talk about how this dude did what he did. And he, just a quick background. In fact, I'm not going to do the background. We'll dig out the background as we talk to Jim. Because the other thing about me interviewing people, even like I did yesterday, I get to find out things, even having known somebody for 8, 10, or 20 years that I didn't know before. So with me today live, unless you're going to be catching this as a replay later, is Jim Tanner. Brother, what is up? How you doing, man?
Todd, man, I'm excited to be here. This is outside of working in my own business with my own team, my next favorite thing is your audience, which I'm a part of. So this is really getting the extended family together. So I'm pumped up for this today. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So let's talk. So you are incredibly successful in your company. You've earned well in excess of 7 figures, and you've been with the same company as long as I've known you. First of all, when did you get started in network marketing? I don't even know the answer to this question. Is this your first one and only, or did you do some network marketing before? And what were you doing before you got involved in network marketing?
Yeah, great question. So I've only been with this company. This is it. I started out as a customer. I was a customer for a decade, and I'd referred other people to, we market a service. I've referred other people to the service. I believe that at the center of what we do, ladies and gentlemen, the purest thing about what we do is this. You have a product or a service. You get a great result from it. You believe that the people you care the most about would also get a great result from it, and you are willing to share it with them. And then on top of that, this extra layer of cream is we get to be compensated for doing that good thing. So I started out having no idea what network marketing was. I'd never heard of it. Nobody ever tried to recruit me into anything. Or if they did, I didn't notice. But I lived my entire life to 28 years old. For 10 years, I had been a customer of this company, and I'd been working. I've been pursuing my dreams like everybody else does, right? When someone's 18, 19, 20 years old, you can't tell them anything. I was working as hard as I had to work to pursue the life that I wanted. But I kept running into the problem. Number one, I have a high school degree. That's it. So there's really wasn't a lot of demand for my labor at a high income level. I was working a minimum wage job delivering furniture, and then I couldn't pay my bills with that. So I had a job at a store in the mall at night, working in a nutrition store for the discount and for the extra money. So I was working 2 jobs in a high income community where I couldn't afford to live. So I was also commuting. So I was working and commuting 80 hours a week and routinely choosing between food and gas for my car. And so I just got to the point where so many of us get to where I was just sick and tired of always being in that position of, running in the hamster wheel. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So this is a long time ago, right? This is in the infancy of the internet, which I didn't have in my home. I was at the library looking for other ways to make income outside of just getting another job, because there just wasn't more room in my life for more jobs, trading time for money. And when I stumbled upon the fact that this product that I already knew, respected, believed in was this home-based business opportunity, I was stunned. When I saw the compensation plan, I was floored. And I realized right there, it didn't matter. Like all that stuff, that anxiety people have, I'd never done this before. I didn't care. I'm not a salesman, didn't care. I knew the product worked. I knew I needed an opportunity at that compensation they were showing me. I saw other people were living the life of their dreams because they got involved. And I just thought to myself, listen, if they can do it, then I'm going to take every bit of effort, and I'm going to see if I can do it too. And that's where my whole journey started. And I still didn't really know what I joined. I just knew that it was a home-based business. I didn't have to rent a building. I didn't have to get a sign. I didn't have to hire anybody. I could just get right to it.
That's awesome. And the company that you're in is what? I've been a customer of your company for probably, I didn't even know, like close to 20 years. So how long has the company been around? Like over 40, right?
52 years.
52 years. So that's another thing. Like I interviewed another couple a couple months ago, and people are like, oh, you got to be in early, you got to be the first in. And, if you don't get in the first couple of years, it's too late. And here you are in a 52-year-old company, still crushing it, still been bringing people in that are launching, executing, getting after it, and creating success. So that is a fallacy. In fact, the truth is most companies don't even last past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, if any company in or out of network marketing, if you launch a company and it lasts past 5 years, I don't know. I could probably pull up the stats on that, but it's like a fraction of a percent, or it's like, less than 3% of companies. So, so Jim, let's talk about how you did it. Like, and I don't want to make this about me. I know you've plugged into my stuff and you give me a lot of credit for cold market recruiting and recruiting professionals and all that. But like when you launched this business, like what did you do? Did you knock it out of the park? Like, how were you building? Did you knock it out of the park right away? Was there a struggle period? Was there a breakthrough? Like, let's talk about this, because a lot of my audience are like, they're trying to figure this game out, and they see network marketing. They want to be successful at it, but perhaps, I got a lot of huge leaders that follow me and company owners that watch these too. So from a in the field building perspective, like, what did you do?
Yeah. So I'll tell you exactly what I did, and I'll try to weave some philosophy and life lessons that came along the way. Number one, we always say ignorance on fire is far better than knowledge on ice, right? And I had no idea what I was doing, but I had my personal stories about a result with this product. So I followed the instructions that they give every new person that we give to new people today, which is make a list of everyone you know and don't prejudge anyone. And then to go out there and begin exposing them. So that's what I did. Now, here's the interesting thing. Some of that low-hanging fruit, because I'd been a customer for 10 years telling people about it anyway, some of that low-hanging fruit was gone. My mom was already a customer. My grandparents were already customers. People at work, people at church. So what I did initially was, off of the list that I had those folks that already also loved the membership. They would send me to referrals to other people. And I had the folks who'd never heard of what I do, which I was grateful for those. And I just started meeting with people. And that job delivering furniture, we were closed on Sundays. So then I stopped working my part-time job at the mall on Sundays. And I coveted that one day. So that, again, this is before texting and emailing. That one day I was sitting down with people across a table, have a cup of coffee, show them what we were doing, let them feel my excitement and belief in what it was. And I started off right there. And the fact is that, all these years, 21 years later, I'm more excited about what we do now than I was on day one. But on day one, it was going to save my life. And I knew it would. So I was excited then, but I'm more excited now. So I think because of all this technology, which is great, because we are here today, we're all enjoying each other because of technology. But there's, no matter how you might feel that I feel about what I do, that screen is diluting it. You get in a room with me and you will understand that I have a white hot conviction for what it is that I do for a living. And people are looking for that. So again, I said I'd weave some lessons in. I think more of us need to get back in rooms with real people and let them feel what it feels like when you transfer your belief in your product or service, your company and your opportunity to them, because they can just see it coming out of your pores. And that's what I was doing from the beginning. I got to learn skills that I never even knew were going to be skills, like how to put on a weekly meeting in your local neighborhood. We started in the back of a Denny's, smelled like moons over my hammy.
Oh, moons over my hammy, bro.
They're cleaning pots in the kitchen. They're swearing at each other in 3 different languages, but we were there. It wasn't pretty, but we started to get a group of people together doing these basic fundamentals of exposing and following up. and getting folks the information. And it grew from there. And it started in that local community in my own backyard. And it started to just grow a little bit because we kept it simple. Now, here's what would happen is over time, I would hear things from other people and that would get me off track. There's a great lesson. If what you're doing is working perfectly, do that and try to close out all interruptions. But I did know this. I knew that the opportunity to build this thing across the United States, across Canada, without me leaving my house to do it in those early days was going to require other skills that I didn't have yet. So maybe you want to go, I'll turn it back over to you and we'll talk more about that. You can kind of take the direction, but I did have success right away. As a matter of fact, I fired 2 bosses almost right away. I went from couldn't pay my bills to now, minimum wage. It doesn't take a lot to replace that. But I replaced it so quickly with something I believed in so passionately that I built confidence right away. I said, you know what, I can do this. And I also said this, Todd, I said, I could probably use the stress of just getting out there and doing it. And that's what I did. Now, I didn't have a house. I didn't have a family. I didn't have, 3 kids in private school or any of that stuff that people are facing. It was just me. So I was able to make this my career very quickly and just keep going from there. But you know what? I want to make sure this is clear to everybody because there's some folks right now that are watching this saying, well, if I had all the time that he had, of course I'd build it. I had no time when I got started. So I did this 2 hours a day in blocks. Once I graduated from just Sundays, it was an hour a day. It was 2 hours a day. I figured out that if I could do this a couple of hours a day and replace my income and then grow my income, I would never have to work more than a couple of hours a day. One of my first mentors said, if all of your money comes in from none of your time, how much time do you have to go make more money? All of your time. So today I'm a full-time dad, a full-time husband. I've got interests and hobbies and things that matter to me. And I still run a business a couple of hours a day like I always did, except now instead of just replacing a minimum wage income, it's put me in a position to earn the same income as top CEOs and executives in America. But I don't do it more than somebody else. So if you're busy, this is the perfect vehicle for the busiest people. So don't mess that up by trying to think you got to do it 8 hours a day, because I personally don't think that's the true promise of our business. The promise is we're giving parents and grandparents back to their kids and grandkids. We're giving people choices that they never would have realized with a traditional 9-to-5 job. We're letting people pursue their passions. That means artists get to be artists and actors get to be actors and singers get to be singers and poets get to put poetry into the universe because they're not just chasing a paycheck all week long. They instead get to build something meaningful from home and then do the thing that lights their heart up all day long, which is pretty cool, right? All right, I said I was going to back over to you.
No, it's good, man. So, you had success and like just hearing it. Okay, let me look at it. You had the passion, you had the conviction, you were willing to do the work. You did the work. And then you did the right work. You were like doing meeting. And I'm not saying meetings is the only thing, but look, one of the things you also pointed out is like eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly. My belly's a little bit further in now than it used to be. So, I'll probably do chest to chest now, but like you're like seeing people like, okay. So we see each other right now. This is cool. Zoom's awesome, or StreamYard in this case. But the fact that you have started building by working and seeing people, and I know you still do it to this day. I don't even need to ask you that question because we've talked, and I know that you incorporate tools, tech, and all of that, but you're still seeing people. And you also said something about these people that don't have the time. I don't know of a better vehicle that somebody can do. Like, it's interesting. The last few years, we've been compared to like the term, the gig economy has been pretty widely used. And when I think gig, I think first thing that comes to mind is Uber. And that's cool. I mean, if you got to go Uber to make ends meet and pay the bills, you do it. But to me, this vehicle that we've all chosen to be in, or somebody who's watching may have not chosen it yet, this is the ultimate level of flexibility. Like you can Uber from 7 to 8 in the morning, but I mean, how many rides are you going to do? You can like the pockets of your time, an hour here, an hour there. You started on Sundays, and then you blocked time out, an hour here, an hour there. I I want to just kind of share that because I know that there's going to be people that are going to catch this and they're like, bro, I'm not even involved in network marketing yet. What are you guys even talking about here? And so I'm a believer, as I know you are, of like, let's expand, let's expand the model. Let's stop this. Hey, I know you're over in that company. Come over here and play with me. Because that's just like a migrational pattern with people. It's not even, we're not even growing the business model. I mean, you went from, and again, a lot of people that follow me, they know the Jim Tanner story, at least part of it. They know here's a guy that went from driving a furniture truck to, becoming a 7-figure income earner. That's like the encapsulated story that most people get. So when you're building, like how much of your business has been in the quote cold market versus warm market? I know we're always recreating warm market, meeting new people, but what would you say the percentage is for you in terms of your personal business build, personal production that's been in the cold market?
Yeah, great question. So let's continue the story as it was. So I started out purely in the warm market, referrals, and I'm from a little town. I'm from a little mountain town in Vermont, which means that everybody's in your warm market.
Yeah.
Like you can't go down. You can't do anything in town without somebody calling your mom and saying, "Hey, I saw your son in town." I mean, it's that small. So
yeah.
So that was a benefit because it also lived my life appropriately, right? Eric Worre says sometimes people get into network marketing, they're either rewarded or punished by the way they've lived their life so far. I was rewarded because I lived my life like a normal person. I wasn't, in the papers or anything like that for bad things. So I was able to flourish right away. I had to ask, right? And I think one of the things that we struggle with is becoming the person that will ask somebody to take a look. I had never had to do that before. So you talked about Uber. The reason that Uber doesn't pay very well is because you're on the other side of the model. See, what Uber's doing is they're acquiring the customer on your behalf. You're just giving them a ride. The person that acquires the customer makes the money because acquisition of the customer is what drives the economy. So if you're just giving them a ride, of course it doesn't pay as much because it's not as valued as acquisition of the customer. In our model, we are paid so well because we acquire the customer through the most powerful channel ever, word of mouth marketing. So I did take off in that direction. I loved it. What I was frustrated by, because this can't just be, wasn't it all just a box of fluffy ducks the whole time? It was not, because I had to move quickly because I saw the opportunity in front of me. I had to read every book they gave me because I needed to reprogram my mind. I had an employee's mentality. I had a $400 a week idea of myself. I had to grow outside of all that. That's a painful process for a small town guy. And maybe if you're from the big city, I don't know. But for me, it was hard. I needed to read. I needed to hear Jim Rohn. I needed to hear Bob Proctor challenge me. So I was doing that, but I was frustrated that the people I was bringing along with me as business partners didn't seem as motivated for the transformation that was available as I was. So I began to get frustrated with that group of people around me. I didn't love them any less, but I just felt like they didn't either understand what we were doing or they didn't want to do it at the level I wanted to do it at. Now, they're great customers to this day. Some of the people from my very first meetings are customers to this day, and I love them, and they love the service, and they'd never be without it, but they don't build it. I wanted people that wanted to run with me and then run past me. I saw that's what was happening in the space. And so that's why I started looking outside of what I already knew and what I was being taught, because frankly, from the company level, really, the most companies are going to teach you warm market exclusively. So you're going to have to find a Todd Falcone. You're going to have to start looking around the edges for other strategies. And that's when I found the strategy of, and we're going to talk about this, working with business opportunity seeker leads. And I was like, wow, are you telling me that I can spend some money? I can get a list of people that have shown some level of interest. I can call those people on the phone, and they could be all the way across the country. And now I can build my team from home, but I can build it anywhere. I was captivated by that. And I also thought, if some of you have been there, a list of 100 people, I'm probably going to recruit like 75 or 80 of these folks. Right?
Dude.
Well, fast forward, that's not what happens. But
we know that.
But you get really good at another skill, which is making phone calls, which most people don't want to do. But I promise you this, if you took a list of 500 people, even if you knew, if I gave you a list, Todd, of 500 people that I would guarantee you none of them would be interested and half of them would be rude to you, and you still took the time to call from 1 to 500, it would be transformative in your skill set so that you could build this business. But what happens is most people will buy the list. They won't call any of the people on the list. And if they do get the courage, they'll call 1 or 2, and that's about it. And then the rest of the list, all of those people that asked for help, that filled out a form, praying that somebody would bring them an opportunity. And we were too afraid to make the call just because they probably were going to say no or be unkind or not understand opportunity when it was presented to them. So that was part of my progress. And that's when I met Todd Falcone, ladies and gentlemen, because he was being interviewed on a podcast. And the story would be so much better if I could remember the gentleman, these 2 guys that were interviewing you.
Oh, is that how you found me? I was on a pod. I don't even know. Like, I've never even asked you, like, how did you first get plugged into me?
That was it. And these guys were great. And that's where, just the way you were talking to them, I said, this guy's my guy. Like, this is a real, because I'd met a lot of polished people at that point, people with suits and ties and 3-piece suits and had kind of elevated their game, but elevated their speech. And you were talking to me where I was. And I was like, this guy gets me. This guy, I want to see what this guy's all about. So I went to your website. I saw that you had training on how to be better at calling those leads. I got that training. I listened to it. I listened to live dials. I saw where I was on track, where I was off track. I would have never gotten any further without that. That was the best decision and the first investment I ever made in myself as a professional network marketer, to get some training that I paid for. It came in the mail in those CD sets. I was so excited. I was listening to them. And that's what kind of took me in that direction. So 27 minutes ago, you asked me what was my percentage of cold market. Today is probably 95% cold market.
Wow.
And today I'm grateful because I love the travel aspect of our business. I love crisscrossing the US and Canada and speaking and hanging out with my team. We just got back from Atlanta. And so I'll not only will I myself, but also I'll get my leaders together and we'll actively target areas where they know I'm going to be, because I love touring around and hanging out with people and training them. And now the company sends me to these markets as well, so that I can help out everybody. It's a lot of fun. But it's almost exclusively now people that I'm talking to on the phone. Listen, and we're going to get to professionals, but people that see an opportunity and perceive it as an opportunity and are interested in opportunity. They want to trade in the micromanagers they have in their life and instead have mentors. They want to get out of a situation where they've got somebody just hovering over them all day long, and they want to be coached. And that's what our opportunities offer to people. But most people have no idea we're out here. I mean, we're talking here. I don't know how many people are going to see this, and still millions and millions and millions of people will go to bed tonight having no idea that this space is an option for their life, to create a secondary income stream, to give them a new career, to give them a reality that's completely different than the one they woke up with this morning. And that's why what we all do is so important, exposing people to more information than they had when they got up this morning, so they can make a decision that makes sense for their life. And I'm just excited about that. And everybody knows this is what I do. Everybody in my life knows I'd love them to do it with me. And everybody knows I am not waiting for any of them to go and take it to the next level.
Yeah, bro. I can feel your fire. I can feel your enthusiasm many years later. Like, you're not one of those burnt out network marketers who are like, oh, I'm so done. I'm really curious to, like, I got introduced to leads, and I'm meaning business opportunity seeker leads in 1995. I had run some ads, early, so I got into cold market pretty early in my business. But in 95, it was December of 1995 that I got introduced to ProStep, which was this lead generation company. And I, like you, I thought, oh, wow, cool. These are all people that request information about making money from home. Bang, I'm going to pick up the phone. And I was one of the guys that called them. Initially, not all of them had phone numbers even. And so I was one of the people like you that did the work. And I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go. Like, I'm going to get 90 of these guys in my business. And it was like 3 to 5. And so quickly, like almost immediately, you come to the realization that there is a lot of sorting. I still, even though business opportunity seeker leads aren't as prevalent, I still am a massive fan of them because it gives you the time in the driver's seat. It's the easiest way, in my opinion, like if you're going to get comfortable talking to people, even more so than professionals, I would not take somebody to go, hey, start recruiting professionals day one, unless you got some mad communication skills and confidence, because you will get blown out. But with leads, you're like, I don't even know who these people are. If I screw up on the phone, doesn't matter. They're not my next door neighbor. I'm not going to see them at the grocery store next week. And they're going to go, oh, I remember when you screwed up that conversation. And so there's still a huge place for it from a development of confidence and skill sets, and you can get results with it. So I'm curious from you, like I got great results working leads. I recruited tons of people. And a lot of people that did duplicate. What was your success like from business opportunity seeker leads in the cold market? And then we can segue into the professional conversation.
Yeah. So I think that my results, I hate this word closing, but it's universally understood. So we'll call that closing ratio, which in my business is about 2 out of 10. Was about 2 out of 10. It's about 2 out of 10 with professionals. It's about 2 out of 10 with biz op leads. It's about 2 out of 10 with my warm market. The difference is how many people do I have to talk to get somebody to watch the video, which is our process. And so as we've been talking about, you're going to contact a lot of people to get somebody who will say yes to watching the video and then actually watch it. And then it's about 2 out of 10. And so it started to, I remember that, because the ones that I was getting, you'd get them by area code. So I was looking up area codes of places that I thought would be good, which I had no idea. I'm just throwing darts at a map, basically. These are going to be good places, and then I would which was meaningless. But then I would get the list of leads for, you know what I'm talking about, the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, age leads. So you can't sort those necessarily by area code. But then I'd start calling them and I'd get results, and then I'd see that the results were clustered, and then I'd convince myself, oh, they really like me in Eugene, Oregon. I got to buy more 541 area codes, or there's stuff you tell yourself when you're in the middle of it. But it's all this. They're human beings. Like if I take a business opportunity lead today and it's 6 years old, and I meet that person at the grocery store today, it's the same person. Somebody says, well, I'm not going to call a 30-day-old lead. It's the same person. It's someone you get to talk to. And we just need to talk to more people. That's it. I need to talk to more people. Right now, I'm as guilty as anybody. Money comes in every day. I need to talk to more people. I got to put myself on punishment.
Oh, hey, man. We'll save that part of the conversation for later. I woke up with a very interesting thought this morning about maintaining production. Because at first in your business, when you don't have any check, you don't have any people, you do all the work. And then you get to a point where you're making whatever, 10, 15, 20,000 a month. And then you really don't have to work for it. And then a lot of people don't. But we'll save that for later. So did you get results? Like I know you got Cold Market Lead Master course and Championship Prospecting Series, which is me doing live dials. Like I'm pretty known in the network marketing profession for being, I don't even know if anybody else does this, where they'll get on a call or record and actually dial leads or prospects live in front of an audience. I don't know anybody that does that anymore, but, and so you dug through, I know you got both of those and started to apply what I was teaching in that. Did you recruit people into your business with leads?
Oh yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, did you bring anybody in from leads that actually produced any business for you?
Nobody became a superstar, because that I would remember. But there's definitely people that, signed up their friends and family and got it going from the leads for sure. Yeah. But nothing remarkable.
Nothing like, okay, that's my number one producer came from leads, right?
No.
Real quick, and not everybody knows this, but I am the direct result of a cold call. Now, I wasn't a lead. Some dude found me on the list of graduates at Long Beach State, looked me up the white pages and called me. So I was totally cold market. So I just want to say this, like you guys that are sitting there like cold market, small man, dead man, it works. And there's a lot of different ways to do the cold market. In fact, most of you guys that are on Facebook or wherever and your prospect, you're DMing somebody on Instagram, that is cold market unless it's your bro, right? So most of you guys, so stop poo-pooing the term cold market. In fact, I think marketers do that because they're like, hey, get our system. It'll just send you leads on autopilot and you can sit there on your butt and never do anything. So at what point, so you how long did you work cold market, like business opportunity leads? Like a year, 2 years, 5 years? I mean, do you still do it, or like what was the time frame of you working those types of prospects?
So that's a tough question. I'm not great about timelines, but I would say probably for 4 years, that was my primary method of operation. And I found frustration in trying to teach it to other people because they wouldn't sit down and make the calls. So it wasn't, it was the holy grail is duplication, and getting that to duplicate in my team was not working. And I didn't know that was what wasn't working until let's get to the next thing. Until I discovered your recruiting professional series, and the way you present that to people that have been there, who've been on the grind in this profession, we know that and so we listen because we can tell that you've been there. And as soon as you started talking about how you made that pivot, I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. And then getting the training and executing on the training and then teaching that to my team has gotten me massive duplication.
Okay. So I want to make sure everybody understands the pivot so they see the connection. So for me personally, I spent about 11 years primarily working leads, like business, like sitting at my desk, list of leads, making phone calls. And I did well with that. And I recruited a lot of people with that. But my pivot point was I was like, and I remember the day, actually, I was sitting at my desk. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here. I was making, I don't know what I was making. I was making somewhere between 200 and 400 a year. I don't know, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and it was just one of those days, bad day of prospecting. Like all the people that said they were going to be there weren't there. I call these people. I got some dude that's drunk on the, like, just absolutely S-faced on the phone. He couldn't even, he was slurring all. I'm like, ugh. I don't want to deal with all of these people to get to the few that I'm gonna. Oh, this is a great person, because instantly somebody picks up the phone and says, "Good afternoon, this is Todd," versus "Hello," and then immediately I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here, and so I just got sick of it. And the trigger was a Homes and Land magazine. I know you know the story, but there was a Homes and Land magazine sitting at my desk. And I looked at it. I was like, wow, realtors, like, yeah, pretty much every realtor that I know, they're outgoing. They sell for a living. They're like, I don't know any people that sound like that last guy. And that was the first jump for me into recruiting professionals. Then it was like a 2 or 3 year period of time where I'm like, I immediately launched into it, and then figuring it out, trying to, what am I going to say? Cause like this script, that peak interest question didn't work. That one, And then I finally, and I tell this publicly, it took me like 6 years, literally 6 years of doing this, trying all these different ways, where I finally got to the peak interest question that I know you've got memorized, which is,
do you at all keep your income options open when it comes to earning money outside of what you're already doing in blank?
Boom. There's a guy that's, and do it all, keep your options open in terms of making money outside of what you're currently doing with Coldwell Banker. Bang, done. Took me 6 years to get to that. But so I want to hear, like, what happened for you? Like, you're working leads. Obviously, you're at that point fully plugged into me, my podcasts or YouTube stuff. And then you start hearing about recruiting professionals. You bought the course. You actually did it, and you didn't. I just, like, tell me what happened for you. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like, you heard about it, you got into it. What happened for you, and what happened in your business as a result of it?
Yeah. So first of all, the premise just makes total sense, because at that point, again, I'm in the middle of having built this thing. And when we talk about this, so let's talk about it. So you have a funnel, right? And whatever you put in the top of the funnel comes out the bottom of the funnel. I think we can all agree. So if at the top of the funnel, you just found a way to create every lead you have that goes to the top of the funnel is somebody with too many birds in the background when they make a phone call, right? They own too many ferrets, and bird lovers and ferret lovers, stick with me here. They can't go to a meeting because they have 47 goats and whatever, like just nonsense lifestyles. If you put that all at the top of the funnel, then out the bottom of the funnel, your recruits are going to be a reflection of whatever's in the pipeline. So why wouldn't you, since it is challenging to prospect and sort and communicate with people and follow up with them and get them into the business, fill the funnel with people that if they said yes, they would already be more than halfway to what we already do. They are well connected in their community. outgoing and willing to speak, pick up their phone when it rings. They own a suit or nice clothes. They understand an opportunity when they see one. And sure, they have questions, but the questions are around how do I do this, not why would I do this. They can afford to get started in a business. And so there's probably more that we could talk about, but all that right there, that's what goes in your funnel. If it's insurance agents and realtors and outdoor advertising salespeople and radio ad guys, and you fill your funnel with those people, guess what you get out the bottom? You get people that are prepared to get to work after they say they want to do this with you. And one of the things that I learned along the way, because here, let's go back to my story. My mentors had to really work on me to get me to set a goal to earn $100,000 a year doing this. It was a challenge for them because I wasn't wired for that. I was wired to make about $400 a week. That's what the whole world had told me I was worth. I believed them. And so they had to work on my belief in me. When we started recruiting professionals, they were already making a six-figure income, or they already believed it was possible and have experienced it. I didn't have to do any of that mental work with them. They were just like, show me the math of this thing. Which direction do I run in, and when can I start running? And that's when my business got really interesting really fast, because here's something you'll notice when you start doing this. People can afford to get started. As time has gone on and physical items that go into getting started have become digital in many cases, it's very affordable to get started in home-based businesses. A lot of people understanding when they see that you can become a millionaire doing this want to know why it costs so little to get started. Whereas the people that I was often talking to wanted to know why I wouldn't just pay for them to get started, right?
Yeah, if it's so good, why don't you pay my way in?
That are not little. They're when you think about the magnitude of those differences, they're all the difference in the world. They know people. They don't say I don't know anybody. They haven't abused their relationships. They haven't been taking from their relationships their whole lives, and so now they can't go in their mind and show somebody something else because they've always been takers. These are people that pay into their relationships. They see the value of this, and the reason they're going to get started is because they see it makes sense for them and their family, and they want other families to have that benefit as well. It's just a completely different group of people operating at a completely different level of society. But I have to say something about this, because I've learned in telling these stories over the years that there's a piece that I've often missed, and I want to share this with you. So everything I just said sounds like I don't care about people that were in a position that I was in winning, right? Like I'm going to look past them to the next high stakes professional. Not true, but I'm not going to beg the person that is in the position that I was in. I'm going to, with posture, show it to everybody, not prejudge anybody, and know that I don't have to beg this one person, because I have a pipeline full of people that do understand and can understand what I do. And also, if you are today where I was, which is that you've left the job world behind, but you're still struggling to have consistent income in your business so that you can buy the next car, buy the next house, so you can breathe. You're not at the I can breathe yet level. This is how you climb out quickly. The reason that network marketing is a vehicle for you is it's a vehicle to move you from where you are to where you want to go. Well, how do you do that? You partner with people that have the contacts you don't have, that have the skills you don't have, that have the confidence you don't have, that have the experience earning big incomes that you don't have. And what they do is they yank you out of the situation you're in, because they're often running. It's like a team of horses hooked to you. They'll just drag you down the street. Todd, I'll let you get back to questions.
No, it's interesting that we even have to have this discussion, right? Where conceptually, like I did a visual a long time ago of the pipeline, and I don't know if you remember this. It was like poop in, poop out. I drew a big pile of poop, and so a big pile of poop, and then on the bottom of the pipeline, a bunch of little poop comes out. But if you're putting in quality, you're putting in charismatic people, sales professionals, well-connected people that own a suit, for example, whatever, all of that. So like if you look at any sales pipeline, this is like sales pipelining 101. You fill it in, you got suspects, prospects, the qualification, then whatever. And then at the bottom, that person comes out. So if if more people would just get this, and I think the way that you phrase that, anybody that is watching this now or watches in the future, it's got to snap for them, because it's like, yeah, those are all valid points. The quality of the person that I put into the pipeline is going to be the quality of the person that comes out of the bottom of that pipeline, which you know, first of all, you experienced it. It's like these conversations are more fun. They're more productive. The people, because advertisers do this. This is exactly what advertisers do. They target market. They don't go like, so my family, as you know, owned a radio station years ago. I've been out of that business for decades and decades, but you wouldn't see, like, for example, Coca-Cola, right? That brand, they would not advertise on a soft rock radio station because it's women 35 to 54 or 25 to 54, whatever the demo is. So we would never get the Coca-Cola money. It would always go to the hip hop radio station or the younger. And I'm not saying somebody that's 45 or 50 doesn't drink Coke, but the reality is the heavy users, the people that are most likely to be a heavy consumer of that product are in this format. They're listening to this radio station. Same thing like beer commercials. A lot of beer commercials you're going to find on a country radio station. Do people that don't listen to country drink beer? Of course they do. But if more network marketers would understand this, that you're building a productive sales team, and you got into this discovery, you honed your skills and recruited people and developed the confidence through working leads. And then ultimately, okay, this professional thing makes sense. And I'm curious, like, and I don't know if I've actually ever asked this question. Like, you obviously fully embrace that. You've literally been my single best testimonial for somebody who followed the process, didn't reinvent the wheel, executed like a madman, and you know, you've had huge results. Like, how duplicable is recruiting professionals? How has it been in your organization? Like, in terms of like teaching people how to recruit professionals, target market, go after better quality people for your business?
Yeah. So let me give you the long answer because it's worth it. So first of all, had I not done that, nobody would have ever heard of me in my own company. Like, I would have been right in that, you know how there's like a bottom of the top, Todd, in every company? That's where I would have been. Like, I would have been grinding it out. I would have been constantly, for years, because I watch other people do this, replacing the people that are here for a minute and don't stick around. You know, well, it's like holes in a bucket. They're just rushing out as fast as you can put them in. I would have been one of those guys because that's what I was kind of doing until this pivot. The pivot changed my finances, but it's because, remember I was saying, it's like you're just getting strapped to a group of thoroughbred horses and they're running. Here's what that means. In my company, in my team that you know, were my organization, I was not the first person in my own team to earn $100,000 in a year. Like, that happened in my recruiting. Someone below me, a couple people actually, did that first. What did I do for my income? Pulled me up to $100,000 a year. I wasn't the first person to make $1 million in my own team. I wasn't the first person. Everybody says, well, the person at the top makes all the money. Nonsense. This is a real business. I had people came into my business and ran harder than me and ran past me and made $1 million in their career. One guy in 4.5 years. Well, guess what that did for my career? It pulled me up to $1 million in income. And all of that, because now all of a sudden, what I did had this visible record of working. My own team is listening to me. Now they're seeing, we got to listen to this guy. This guy's getting all the accolades. He's standing on stage in front of thousands of people. My own team members are standing on stage in front of thousands of people. That's the ultimate in this business, when your team is winning. So then the rest of my team wants to win too. So now they're more interested in hearing. So it's massively duplicatable, but there's stuff you got to learn. Like professionals, if you want to bring professionals into your team, you attract them or repel them. Those are your two choices, because they are going to figure you out quickly. That's why the phone is so awesome. Everybody likes Zoom. I don't love Zoom. I mean, I can do Zoom now. I got a nice house and all that stuff. But if I had to talk on Zoom to people when I wasn't proud of where I lived and any of that would have been a detriment. The phone call, if you can sound professional, which we all can learn how to do, if you can choose your words carefully, if you can listen and mirror match to the person on the other side of the phone, all skills you can learn by making calls. if you can, for example, on your LinkedIn, have a professional LinkedIn. You might be the manager of a Domino's restaurant. You don't have to proclaim it proudly on your LinkedIn. You don't have to keep it real. You can be a professional and attract professionals to you. You know why? Because you have a company that you represent. And some of you, it's a new company. And some of you, it's an established company. But if they're sending you checks every day, it's because they are a successful company. So that means that you represent a successful company. I mean, I represent $1 billion company. I have to behave like that. Otherwise, it's incongruent. How could this company be so successful if the person they're talking to on the phone sounds like an amateur, which is the opposite of professional? And this is not that. But so yes, it is duplicatable. But I just want to make sure that, because I don't want to go to bed tonight saying, oh, I wish I'd said. When I say professionals, it doesn't mean sales professionals. It just means professional people. A lot of them are in sales, but a lot of them are not. They're managers, they're executives, they're retired people that have lived a lifetime and have a lifetime of contacts, but they're not necessarily salespeople. What we do, the great debate is it sales? Is it sharing? The debate will go on long after I'm no longer here anymore. But here's what I do know. Professionals will help you grow your business. And it starts with you being professional, and that will really help you grow your business. So what can you read? Who can you listen to? Who can you get around that is professional? Because when we start in this business, a lot of us, me too, the average people I was hanging around that were making me average were not professional people. So I had to get away from those folks. And even today, Todd, the same lessons, right? I don't want to be the strongest guy in my gym. I don't want to be the richest guy at the party. I want to get around people that have done things that I haven't done yet so that they can help me expand my potential in every area of my life. I have a group of guys. They're better husbands than me. I hang around with those guys because I'm learning. I have people that I think are better dads than me. I hang around them because I'm learning. I mean, it's not just business. It's every area of our lives. We can just keep improving. And this, what you're doing right here for all of us, you give us the opportunity to be together and row in the same direction towards something meaningful in our lives individually, and you will never realize the windfall of what the value you've provided for us. I mean, you just do it with such a servant's heart, because I mean, what can we do? Yes, we're gonna buy your course, but that's nothing compared to what it pays. I mean, what I paid for the course versus what I've earned in income, what my grandkids will earn in income because of what we're doing right now. Generations of my family that I'll never hold in my arms will benefit financially from the business I built because I stumbled over you one time. I mean, folks, there is no other Todd Falcone. I just want to talk to your audience. You can go if you need to go to the bathroom. There's no other Todd Falcone. There's no other person that's going to step in and provide you all of this sincere help and appreciation for your struggle. You found him. Listen to him. Do what he says and stick around him, and you will never be sorry. Okay, off my soapbox, back over to you.
Oh man, no, I appreciate that, brother. I just, I was a struggling guy that just wanted to make more money in my life. I grew up in a broke family, not food stamps, but like we didn't have extra, and I had an opportunity I guess I was 13 or so at the time. My parents unfortunately got divorced. And I got to see the difference between when my mom got remarried, no money to some money. It wasn't like no money to rich. It was definitely not rich, but it was like, okay, I can see the difference. And so I knew that when I, whatever career path, I didn't know it was going to be network marketing. I had no idea. Whatever career path I was going to do is like, I want to make more money, And I mean, if you're going to work your whole life, why don't you choose something that's going to make you more money than less? I mean, if making barely any money and you're the happiest person on the planet, that's success. That's great. But money is very, very helpful. It's one of the biggest stressors for people. And so fortunately, you and I both had the opportunity to get introduced to network marketing. And then you start navigating that journey and you're like, okay, I see it. This makes sense. I want to be successful at it. But, you and I have a lot of commonalities. Like we're willing to do the work, both willing to put in the time, and then both like, refining our, how can we make the time that we are putting into this more productive? Like it's not brain surgery. It's like, okay, this works, but could it work better? Like, okay, leads worked. Great. Cool. I got great results with it. But then that whole move, like that segue into like recruiting professionals, was a game changer. And then you brought something up that's not that's under the umbrella of being around professional people. It's like, you know, you're like the example, like, I don't want to be the richest guy in the room. Well, yeah, because everybody's going to be coming to you, which is fine. But these other people are going to lift you up, being the biggest dude in the gym. Like, okay, so, all right, I don't need to be the biggest dude in the gym, but I can be around other people. The same thing I do that with golf. Like, I don't like playing with, I can tell you that I play a lot of golf. I'm like a 12 handicap, which is decent. I mean, way above average probably in terms of the total numbers, but I like to play with like +2s, scratch golfers, one handicap, because it forces me during the round to be more focused, to step up the game. And then I play with a bunch of 20, 25 handicaps, and I'm just like, whatever. And my round is always significantly worse. So this idea of focusing on being around producer doers, influencers, and you mentioned something as well. It's not like, okay, we're talking about recruiting professional salespeople. Yeah, there are a lot of like realtors, that one category in particular, that's one category. But honestly, it could be like, for example, a bartender. I don't go to the bars anymore, really. It was just weird, man. It's like, we're getting ready to go out, and I'm like, honey, what are we going to do? Because we go to a bar. We're not even drinking right now. So I guess I'm going to go up there and order a club soda with a lime in it. Fine. So which keeps us out of the bars. But like we've all been to a bar or restaurant where, the waiter, like we had an Italian food last week, and this woman who served us was like one of the best servers that we've probably ever had. She was so personable, so amazing, so attentive, so funny, like all of these things. That would be to me, she's a professional waitress in that case. That's the same thing we're talking about as far as target marketing. So let's shift gears here. And dude, the compliments, bro, I really appreciate it, man. I do the work to help people, and to hear those words from you. Like, I don't like to cry like on a live, so I'm not going to do that. I would keep myself together, but I feel super grateful for what you shared, man.
Well, it's all true, and I'm not going to let you, because everybody just went, don't stop talking about that. So let's give them a list, right? We're all here to learn. Security professionals, former military, teachers. Yeah, I didn't even go to college. I've got 8 PhDs in my team that I know about. I mean, wow. You can just elevate your whole existence. How many teachers do you know that walk around like amateurs? None of them. They're professional people, right? The reason that so many of us get run out of this business is we go to the people that are the least kind, the least professional, and they hammer us because that's what unkind, unprofessional people do. And then we don't get a chance. I mean, I watch it in my own team happen. People are here for a moment. There's so many professional people. And before we say goodbye, I'm going to give you a couple of things you can take away from this. Because every time I get to talk to you, I never have anything for your audience, but I put something together today that hopefully will be helpful for them.
Love it.
And you deserve it, bro. So yeah, just what else should we talk about? What else can we help these people?
So I'm curious, like you and I both started like you started, years later, but still like not much internet or no internet. And it was meetings and then everything, we were kind of forced to move. I won't even say the word, but when we couldn't go anywhere for a couple of years. So everybody had to pivot, like in every industry, everybody pivoted to like Zooms like this right here. Like there was no board meetings. You were together either on a conference call or a Zoom in most cases. And somebody asked me yesterday, I've got a coaching group that I run. And the question was, how do you build culture? Can you build culture without getting together? And I gave him a pretty firm answer. I don't believe you can create the depth of loyalty and camaraderie and real culture without gatherings. And I know you definitely still do a lot of in-person stuff. And I'm taking advantage, of course, of online and all of that. But this is a very common question. Like what percent, like I'm trying to figure out how to ask the question the right way. In today's marketplace, you today, right now, in building the business, and creating a devoted, loyal team of people that are committed to the process. How much is online versus offline? Do you just negate completely getting together with people, or is that how important is that blend, and what percentage is it online versus offline? And what I mean online versus offline, it's like me picking up the phone and calling you versus DMing you. So I'm just kind of curious, because a lot of people they don't really know exactly what to do. A lot of people have moved to this fully only online, and personally, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, so I went through. I went on a journey. First of all, I was angry. I'm not somebody that I didn't believe in my lifetime I would ever hear that I couldn't cross state lines. Like, I have a property in another state, and that I would not be allowed to leave inside of the United States and go from one state to the other. That was, some of you are in other parts of the world, and that doesn't seem that abnormal. Here, that was preposterous. So I had a lot of emotion around that, and then there was this thing where, we have all this great meeting infrastructure that had taken the company 4 decades to build and put in place and lock down, and local leaders and all of this. And then overnight, it all just pivoted to whatever. Eventually it ended up being Zoom for everybody, because that's the company that emerged the leader in that little battle royal. But so everybody's on Zoom, and for a minute we thought, hey, you know what? This is easier. It happened in my church too. 100 people on a Zoom instead of 20 people in the room. We're like, this is actually better. The math says this is better. And the same thing, the meetings grew. The people that weren't coming to the meetings were coming to the online meetings. So we thought, well, what were we doing? We should have been doing this for years. What were we thinking? And we were saving money on places that we'd rent for meetings and all this. And then we realized by the time we got to, about 2 years ago, that Zoom is better than a conference call. Those conference call lines, it's better than that, but it will never replace being in a room with somebody. Here's why it's better than a conference call. When we get in those rooms, we used to say to each other, oh, you look so different than I was picturing. Now people walk straight. I watch it. They walk straight to each other. They embrace like their family, because they do see each other. So this is better than a conference call. There's more connection than we used to get, but it doesn't take us all the way. It's when we get in those rooms. And one of the most challenging things, actually there's two. Number one was for us to stand up all those meetings all over again. It was a lot easier to turn them off than to turn them all back on. And we're still working on that. But also the people that came into the business during an era where everything was online, I do this at my house, they don't know what they're missing. The rest of us that are from before that time, we went right back to it, and we're grateful for it. The rest, we're struggling to get them in rooms again, large and small, and they'll say, there's no meeting near my house, but some of us are driving 2 and 3 hours to go. Some of you are saying, well, if it was closer, I'd go. Let me tell you something about network marketing. The road is the greatest gift you're ever going to get in this business. You get your team in the car and you go 3 hours to a big event, whether it's a big team event or a company event. You got all that anticipation and energy, you and your team going to that event, and then you learn for a day or 2 days. You turn around, you drive home from that event with all that new information and inspiration. Then you go home and deploy it together. That's what when we say this is the glue, it isn't just because we walked in a room together. It's because we got to that room together. Then we went home together, and we instituted what we learned in those rooms. When I started this business in Vermont, it was 4.5 hours to Manhattan, New York City for our monthly team events. That's where I got to be in a room with thousands of people, and I realized how big this business was. But I didn't know then what I know now, all these years later, which is that 4 hours in each direction was where the magic was happening. Because it started out me and one guy, then we filled the car, then we had a couple of cars, then we got a van to go, and it just kept growing and growing. And guess what was happening? The business around us was growing and growing because more people had seen the big picture. More people had got that feeling that you only get in that environment. So if people are building their business completely online, I'm not an expert like Todd to say you can't do it, because I'm an expert in my business. In the business I'm in, we need each other. We need to hug each other. We need to high five and fist bump each other. We need to cheer each other on in a live room environment. And this is better than conference calls. This is like our TV show. Like, we get on Zooms throughout the week and we talk about where we're going to be, and where we're going to have opportunities to come together. And then we go to those spaces and be together. And it's an absolute blast. And the ones that are embracing that are in fact growing their businesses faster. There's just no argument in the other direction. We'd have the numbers. We know who's showing up. We know who's winning. And in our team, especially, I can say confidently, the people that are plugging into stuff in person are winning. Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. The whole, like, the drive, I never even thought about that. It's like, oh, we're driving to the meeting. And I've rented buses, rented vans. I mean, I've thrown 7, 9, probably more than that in a single hotel room. Somebody sleeping in the tub the first time when everybody's kind of broke and you're trying to figure this out, anything to get them there. But that road is like, that is your greatest friend. I love road trips, by the way. For me to jumping in the car and driving for 5, 6, or 10 hours, I love it. But that connection is so vital. So I don't know. I wanted to ask you that question because that question gets asked pretty frequently. Can I build this thing 100% online? You can build a business online. I mean, you can recruit people online. You can bring customers online. But I think that, if you're hiding behind your keyboard, and I'm behind my keyboard. Like, I got a big screen right here. I'm here all day, most of the days. But I'm on the phone a ton. And, it's the connection. Even like when you and I the other day had a pretty lengthy reconnection conversation, that to me is far superior than if we were just messaging ourselves back and forth. And we should be using all the things. I should be texting. I should be Facebook messaging you. I should be hey, let's hop on a quick one-on-one Zoom and have a strategy session if you're across the country. But don't forget the power of that massive, amazing connection that you create by being together, like literally physically in the same spot together. Like I'm so excited because I've starting next month, I'm finally bringing back these small group recruiting retreats where, and you're familiar with these, where I get people in a house. I live in the house with you for 4 nights and we spend 3 full days building the business. That's literally the most impactful thing that I can do. A-team, we crush it in A-team. That's amazing. Courses are great, but the most lasting impact that I found, and I know that you found, is when you're breaking bread together and you're hanging out and you're just being yourselves. It's not just, oh, we're only talking about the business. That's where that true bond and connection comes from. And that cannot be replicated on a phone call. It can't be replicated on a Zoom. It can't be replicated anywhere but in person, eyeball to eyeball. So I'm glad to hear your I kind of knew the answer to that question, but I wanted you to share that with the audience. So let's do this because I know we're running a little bit over. So look, I want you to do this and then we'll wrap this up. Like, you got an audience of people here. Some are big earners, some are not. What would you say, like, from a longevity standpoint for top income earners that you've been in the business for long enough where like you're a staple in the business, like, and a lot of times people get, off kilter and they end up, leaders, like earners, get moving in the wrong direction. So share with the audience, like, for a combination of, like, for people that have been around, that'll help them from a longevity standpoint, as well as people that are like right now trying to figure this game out and actually make their first couple grand a month.
So for the big earners that are here, this really, maybe this is probably not something you need to hear today, but maybe tuck it away for when you start to slow down. When I see people that have made the big money, they've had it, they did it. You did it. And some of it was a grind. And there was times when it was hard. It probably hasn't been hard recently, but there was times when it was hard. I want to be careful about how I say this so that it's measured. I don't know that there's ever been another time where it's more important that you are involved in this business. The world needs us now more than it's ever needed us. We need people that already figured out how to make the big money because the media and society is telling young people that there's nothing here for them. They're telling them that they're not going to own homes or they're not going to be able to elevate themselves in society. The American dream, and again, some of you are in other countries, but the American dream is under attack like I've never seen in my entire life. And it's being attacked so viciously because there are chips in the armor. There is doubt. People are starting to buy into that narrative that what if I can't do better than my parents or my grandparents did? You are the proof. We're the proof that it still works. That you find something you're passionate about, you learn the skills, you don't just show up and coast, but you improve yourself 1% at a time. You are who we're pointing to. So these kids know that there's a better day to come. And I say kids, I'm to an age now where that includes 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, sometimes 40-year-olds. Like we are who they get to look up to. And they can see, you know what? It's not too late, and it's not outside of my reach. If you'll just stay for that, if you'll just pay forward for a little bit longer what somebody did for you, so that you can be that light on the hill for all of these people who are coming behind us. There will never be as many of us as there are of them, right? There's never as many top earners as there are people that strive to be top earners and fall off the mountain somewhere on their journey. So we are a small group of people. We have to do this. We have to champion this. We have to keep sharing our story so that people can be inspired to do this too, because what we do is a real business. And it's there. I don't know how there would be anything more within reach of more people, where there's what I don't know what else you could do where on such an equal playing field, so many people could get an at bat, so many people could get a chance to completely transform not their lives, but the legacy of their family going forward. Just like you, Todd, we have ended a cycle of poverty in my family. It will never be that way again. It's over. And it's not because of me, it's because of me in this vehicle. And so many of us can do that. So if you're the big earners, and some of you, we don't have to talk to you about this, but some of you that you are starting to enjoy the fruits of your earlier labor, just remember there's people looking, and they really need to see that you believe in them. Doesn't mean you have to go running as hard as you did when you were brand new, but just spend the time. Come to these events that we're talking about. Even though you've put your time in, come anyway. Even though it's not going to change your check probably, come anyway, because we need this unified force of people who've already won in this space to show it to the next generation. And then let me talk to these young people too. Everything you've heard is nonsense about you can't do it. It can't be done anymore. The company, you had to get in early. The first time I heard that was when I joined the company. It was 30-something years old. That was 20 years ago. What's early? I intend for this company to be here 100 years from now. What's early? The people that are putting in companies today, they're building companies that they believe will last for 100 years. What is early anyway? You don't have to get in early. You have to be serious when you get in. You have to be willing to be coachable and learn the skills of this profession. Be professional in it because it is a profession. It's not a thing you try. It's not something you put your toe in the water. It's not something that you take less seriously than something that would cost more to start, because there's nothing that you could do that has the transformative power for you to change your life financially. But not only that, to be the person where dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of other people change their lives, and they can't even tell their story without your name being in it. That's powerful. Where people are talking at their kitchen table about how you helped them. There in our company, because we are so established, some of our pioneers and founders are no longer here, but their children are adults. And we get to stop them in the hallways of the convention and share with them how their mom and dad helped us. Don't you want that to be the experience of your adult children, that you get to do this business and build this business and leave a legacy of servant leadership? That's what we all get to do here, Todd. I mean, I can't believe they pay us for this. It's just incredible. And why do they pay us so well? Because we acquire the customer, which is the most valuable thing you can do in marketing. And we do it in the most effective way possible, which is a little bit more laborious. That's word of mouth marketing. That means we take our belief and our trust and we operate in a space of respect with one or more other people and share with them a product or a service that has changed their lives, given us a benefit. And we believe truly, not that we can just make some money, but we believe truly that if they experienced it, that they would get a benefit as well. If that's why you're doing it, keep doing it. And I mean, man, listen, what we do matters is all I'm trying to say. I'm just taking a long time to say it. It matters. When you get up in the morning and do this and expose people to your product, to your opportunity, it matters that you did that, because that's one more person that gets a choice that didn't know they were getting a choice when they woke up this morning. Man, let's just do more, all of us.
Well said, man. I mean, it's all about making an impact. It's not about what I can get. It's what can I give. And this business is one of the things, and I'll just wrap with this. Like, this is a business where you can't succeed. It is literally impossible for you to succeed if you've got the just me. Like, the way you win is by giving. And what we give, if we're talking about the business side of the equation, is we give the gift of somebody having more time with their kids, being able to finally buy a house, being able to take care of their parents when they're elderly, or I could go on and on, but the business is about making an impact. And I think if you're going to be in anything, and many of you guys obviously that follow me are already involved in the business model, but those of you that are not, like, you know what, there's a lot of great opportunities out there for you to pursue, where the primary thing that you do, you grow you and you become a better version of yourself. But at the same time, the only way that you earn is by the willingness to help other people. And Jim, I just want to thank you. I appreciate you so much, brother, for taking, an hour, 10 or whatever it is out of your very busy day to share with my audience. And I just love you, man. You're a good dude. You're a great father. You're just an insanely wonderful, incredible network marketer who's just, dude, I mean, your story is epic. And for you to be able to share your success, and I hope you guys took notes, and, I'll make sure this is available as a replay. Some of you guys are just catching this as a replay on my blog or YouTube or wherever it might be. Take the nuggets from what Jim shared with you and apply them into your life and apply them into your business, and you'll see great things happen. So, Jim Tanner, love you, man. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you soon, bro.
Todd, before we go, if it's okay with you, I'd just love to just add one little thing, because we didn't talk about it today, but the primary way that I find all these great professionals is on LinkedIn, right? We've talked about that a few other times. So what I've been sending to my team, I put up for you guys on my website, and you can have it. It's basically all of the things that I post on my LinkedIn and AI prompts that I use to generate even more cool stuff. I put it on it's just a quick PDF that you can use, keep it on the side of your computer. And if you want it, it's on my team website. Now, there's other stuff there that's just for my team. You're welcome to that too, but it won't apply to your business. But you'll see right there my LinkedIn pack. It's at jimtannerchallenge.com. You can have it. You're welcome to it, and share it with as many people as you'd like. I want everybody to have the benefits that I've learned from this great man over the years, including exactly how to start filling that funnel today. Like, when we say goodbye, get over there and start filling that funnel up, because there's no reason to wait another second. Thanks, Todd, so much. It's really been my pleasure, buddy.
My pleasure as well. And I'll make sure I put that link on the actual post when we do the recorded version. But thanks again, bro. And all of you, thank you for being here, and just take action on this stuff. That's the important thing. That's why I bring these folks here to you live and in a recorded version, to highlight the things that they've done that have made a significant impact, in hopes that you'll take action on it and make an impact too. So thanks again, brother. And all of you, we'll see you next time.